Okay, y'all. So this podcast is dropping the day after all of the Black Friday month and Cyber Monday craziness is, quote, over. And oh my gosh, I don't know if y'all have just been inundated with sales for literally everything you've ever clicked on in your whole life, but I have. And so this podcast is coming from the heart of wanting to help you scale your business, right? I really want to just help you scale your business to reach your people with your message and help your people with your God-given gifts. But sometimes we approach that in the wrong way, not in like your heart is wrong, but you're just going about it wrong and making it way too hard on yourself. So if you are even slightly tired of relying on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever social media platforms you invest in, if you're tired of relying on that for your lead generation and sales and to get more clients, then this podcast is for you because, newsflash, those platforms are not really all that sustainable. So listen in and be prepared to take some notes because I'm going to drop some nuggets for you. Hey there, fellow entrepreneur. Welcome to Simple SEO and Marketing with me, Faith Hannon. Do you want to grow your business with organic marketing and finally feel like you can understand SEO? Are you scouring the internet for how to get more website traffic, SEO for dummies, and how to market on Pinterest? Have you tried to grow your business with SEO and blogging only to get frustrated and quit because it's overwhelming and too time consuming? Been there. Hey, I'm Faith Hannon, Jesus lover, copywriter, blogger, wife, wrangler of tiny humans, and barrel racer. And let me tell you, I didn't have time to waste sorting through SEO and keyword strategies that either didn't work or were so over my head I couldn't understand them. I honestly thought that SEO and blogging only worked for people with a PhD in tech jargon and a whole team of employees, until I learned these secrets. Good SEO strategies don't have to be complicated, and creating and marketing great content doesn't have to take more than a couple hours a week total. So pop in those earbuds, slam some coffee, and let's grow your business with simple organic marketing and a healthy dose of biblical encouragement along the way. Okay, I want you to close your eyes and picture this with me. Unless you're driving, then definitely don't close your eyes. Okay, but picture this. You've got a new offer that you have just busted your little tush to create, to put it together. You've done the market research, like you've talked to your ideal client. You maybe have even done some surveys. You've maybe even, paid some people with a free gift to, allow you time to, quote, pick their brain about what would make their life better, what, problems they need solved that you can help with. You know it's a good offer. You know it's a good product. You know that it's needed, right? It's a thing. It's a good thing. And you've even had people tell you that they'll pay you for this thing, okay? So you've created this amazing offer, this amazing product. And now you know that you've got to market. Like you've got to market this thing. So you have spent hours planning out your social media strategy for this launch. You have spent hours filming reels and TikTok videos or wherever in the heck you are and figuring out all of the right hashtags. You've even gotten some trending audio involved. You might have even hired a social media expert for this. I don't know. But you go to post your first reel for your marketing offer and crickets. So you wait a little while because, things take some time. So maybe you wait a day and then you post the next one that you've created and still crickets. And then you start to freak out because you're like, oh my gosh, I was planning on this launch. I put all this money into this launch or time into this launch, blah, 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 blah. Like I need this marketing material to work for me. I put time and effort and money into this basket to generate leads and to generate sales. And all of these things that you've put time and effort and money into are not performing the way that you expected them to. Now, there are several factors that might play into this, right? Like, maybe you just didn't pick the right trending audio. Maybe you didn't use the right hashtags. Maybe your sales copy is a little off. Maybe, your messaging for your offer is a little bit off. But the fact remains that here you are with this amazing offer and you've tried to promote it and really it's flopped. And meanwhile, all of these posts that you've put, your quote, blood, sweat, and tears into creating live and die in 48 hours and it's done and gone, right? And unless you're lucky enough to have something go, quote, viral on Instagram or TikTok, nobody's going to see this stuff that you created because it didn't get seen right away and because it just didn't gain any traction. So if that's you, or if you have the fear of that being you, then I want to talk to you today because I am not anti-social media. I'm not anti-Instagram. I've actually made a lot of really fun connections on Instagram. I've gotten some clients off of Instagram. But I don't want to rely solely on a platform that somebody else owns to market my business, to use for my organic marketing strategy, to use to generate leads. I don't want to rely solely on Instagram or social media. And I don't want you to either, because there's a better way. And not only is it better, but it's going to save you time and it's going to help you get your offer in front of the right people more consistently. Okay? So I have 2 things for you today, just 2. They're fairly simple and I'm going to walk you through them. Okay, the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to stop focusing so much on your social media and I want you to focus instead on your long form content. I want you to think create big and repurpose small. Now, if you haven't grabbed my repurposing cheat sheet, it's free. It's in the show notes. Go grab it and take that and use it. But the general overarching strategy of how I want you to create content big, to create big and repurpose small is this. I want you to create a blog, or if you're a podcaster and you want to repurpose that podcast into a blog, I'm a huge fan of that too. So go on and do that. But I want you to create this one big piece of content. And when I say big, a blog doesn't need to be 5,000 words. Like, please, no thank you. Ain't nobody got time for that. A blog, a good keyword-rich blog can be as short as 300 words. Now, really, they shouldn't all be 300 words, but I try to keep mine between 500, 600, 700 words and 1,000 to 1,500 words. Like, I'm kind of wordy, so it's hard for me to write like a 300-word blog. I don't really want to write that short of a blog, but you do what works for you and your system and your time and your energy, okay? But I want you to start thinking, create big and repurpose small. I want you to start thinking more about your big, some people call it your star content, your big long form content, either your podcast that gets repurposed into a blog or just your blog. And then I want you to start thinking about repurposing that. So instead of putting all of your time and energy and effort into all of these social media posts, I want you to just shift some of that time and energy into creating a really, really awesome long form content that then you can repurpose smarter, okay? And the reason that this shift in your thinking is important is because I don't want you to just, shift your time or add more things to your to-do list and still be thinking about Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever your social media platform of choice is. Still be thinking about how to perform well over there all the time. Put that lower on the totem pole of importance, right? I want the top of your lead generation funnel to be your podcast, your blog, your YouTube channel, right? They can all work really well interchangeably together, but your podcast and your blog or your YouTube channel, they have a shelf life that is so much longer than your social media posts. And so when you shift your thinking to putting more of the importance there, instead of worrying about if your latest reel is going to go viral and generate leads for you, it takes so much pressure off of the social media performance, and it puts the emphasis and your time and your effort where it matters more, okay? So when you think this way, when you think about really focusing on your long form content and creating big and repurposing small, I want you to think about solving one problem per blog, okay? I've heard, I think it was Jess Connolly, talk about how you don't have to get your people around every base with every sermon. She's speaking specifically about sermons. But she said that her husband told her, hey, you don't have to get your people all around every single base with every sermon, because she was like, oh, I've got this, like all of these problems that I want to solve, and I want to help these people with all of these things at once. And the truth of the matter is, like, whether you're preaching a sermon or writing a blog or creating a podcast, like, you can't solve everyone's whole life in 30 minutes, okay? So think about one specific problem that you're going to solve for somebody in that piece of long form content. Remember, it's either a blog, a podcast, or a YouTube video. Think about the one specific problem that you're going to solve for them and focus on that. And then create this, quote, big piece of content, this big, rich, valuable piece of content. Spend your time and effort there, and then repurpose it elsewhere. And when you think like this, when you focus on your long form content, create big and repurpose small, when you think this way, it helps you to work smarter because you're thinking more long term. You're not thinking so much like flash in the pan sales or like viral TikToks and just spikes in your audience that disintegrate in a day. You're thinking smarter and you're working smarter, okay? And then, like I said, it takes the pressure off of that one stupid reel performing or not performing. And again, I'm not saying that you have to ditch social media, but I don't want you to just rely on it solely or too heavily for your lead generation strategies. Hey friend, I know you're trying to grow this business, but does it feel like it's not really going anywhere? Did you know that we can actually fix the back end of your business so that you have some great SEO? Did you know that we can repurpose your podcast or repurpose your blog and help you grow faster? Did you know that was even an option? If you're thinking, oh my goodness, Faith, that would be amazing, then head on over to faithhannon.com/coaching or click the link in the show notes. In just 1 hour of your time, we'll get you a marketing plan in a box with the exact keywords that you need to be going for, how and where to implement them, and at least 3 months of SEO-focused content planned out for you. Let's get your coaching call on the books right now and get your marketing strategy headed in the right direction. Spots are limited, so don't wait. And I cannot wait to help you finally get the breakthrough you've been waiting for and jumpstart your business dream back to life. Okay, and the second thing that I want you to do, only two things, remember. The second thing that I want you to do to stop relying on social media for lead generation, the second thing I want you to do is to do keyword research for every single piece of content that you create specific to that platform. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that you need to reinvent the wheel here. I'm not saying that you need to go buy Ubersuggest or SEMrush or Moz Keyword Explorer or some other expensive keyword research tool. I'm not saying that you have to be able to sit down and open up and do keyword research every single time you create content. I do because I already have those tools, and that's just kind of how my brain works. What you can and should do is you should have a keyword spreadsheet. You should sit down and do keyword research, in-depth keyword research, either on your own or with me one time, maybe a couple times a year, to really nail down your keyword strategy. And you should have your keyword spreadsheet that you pull from. And that counts as doing your keyword research for that piece of content. That's fine. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to just blindly create content and then hope that it fits some keyword or that it's gonna do well on Google when you haven't done the research there. Now, I will be completely honest. There are some pieces of content that I create that I know are not necessarily going to perform super well with SEO or keywords. And that's fine to do that. Obviously, I think it's fine. But I think it's fine for you to do that occasionally, to create some content knowing that it's not going to do fantastic in search results or with keywords, just because you're creating that content to serve somebody, to serve your ideal person that you know is going to read it anyway, like somebody that's on your email list, it's a super fan that's just going to devour everything you produce. Or if it's just something that you feel convicted to create, based on the Holy Spirit's leading, or it's just something that you're like, hey, this is a fun extra connection point, right? Like it's just some part of that like 10 or 20% of your content that's not really like driving sales, I do think it's okay to create some of that content, knowing that it's not going to do a whole lot for your SEO strategy. That's fine, but do it knowing that that's what you're doing because you've done your keyword research for that content. Because here's the thing with doing keyword research for each piece of content that you create, for each blog, each podcast, each YouTube video. When you don't create intentionally, then you can't evaluate accurately. If you're just like, I'm just going to create what I feel and do what I feel and blah, 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 and just do it, then you can't really evaluate what worked or didn't work as accurately. You can't look back and say, oh, this keyword focus, it was a little bit too big for where I'm at right now. It was a little bit too big for my street cred with SEO. You can't really sit back and look at your analytics, objectively if you don't know what you did intentionally. And if you can't really track or analyze what you're doing, then you can't really grow or scale your business to your full potential because you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. And granted, I like spaghetti, but I don't want it to be my business strategy, okay? So that's what I want you to do, is I want you to stop relying solely or super heavily on social media for lead generation and instead focus on your long form content, create big and repurpose small, and then do keyword research for every single stinking piece of content that you create so that you know what in the heck you're doing, why you're doing it, and then you can evaluate and see if it's working. So there you have it, some down and dirty tips on how to stop relying on social media for your main form of lead generation because, y'all, it's a jungle out there and social media is just wild. And I don't know if y'all notice this or not, but after Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all of the sales, your engagement will drop. It will drop during all of that because there's so many paid advertisements out there. So your organic marketing coming from social media might be poop anyway during the holiday season. So you might as well take this time to really refocus your energy on creating great long form content, aka a blog, and doing your keyword research to work smarter, not harder. Y'all have a blessed day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening in today. Hopefully this episode gave you some really tangible tips for better SEO and marketing to get more leads and more sales from your website. If it did, can I ask you a quick favor? Would you please share this episode with a friend and then just take 10 seconds and go leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. That is the very best way to help more Jesus-loving entrepreneurs scale their businesses so that they can help more people with their gifts and make an even bigger impact for the kingdom of God. And guess what? We now have a Facebook community where we can learn, hang out, and laugh. Go join the Facebook group now. It's linked in the show notes. And all the other things, courses, coaching, and copywriting can be found at my website, faithhannon.com. Until next time, God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.